choir, they did it again. Look at them all in their white. It's amazing. The colors of the celebration, the 50-year celebration, is white and gold. And so thank you for dressing, and thank you for reminding us. And all the people say amen. Amen. That should be, I believe, that should be one of the MCC's slogan. All the people say amen. When MCC started, it was 12 people meeting in the home of Reverend Elder Troy Perry in Los Angeles, California. Imagine that. Something good came out of Los Angeles besides me. But Troy had this vision that people deserved to know that God loved them, that people had been told lies. You need to imagine that before MCC, people who dared tell the truth about being gay or lesbian, bisexual, and transgender, now that was really undercover transgender, right? That people had been put out of churches, that people had been told they were not welcome, that people had been told that they're an abomination. That's the reality. You also need to know that even when MCC first got started, that as people gathered for worship, they were arrested because it was against the law for homosexuals to congregate. And yet at the same time, those early pioneers believed the message that God had given Troy, that he was loved, and he was loved more than he could ever imagine. The sacred text for today is a crazy one, because I'm thinking, what in the world is going on here? How would you start a movement with this text? We need to understand that Job was at a place in his life where trials and tribulations were happening all the time, right? And so Job said, even if the Almighty were to strike me down, my hope is in God. I'm not giving up. My hope is in God. Job knew to go to the focus point, his relationship with God. As Troy started the movement, there was lots of times when he went through trials and tribulations as the leader of the church. Times when MCC churches were burned and destroyed. Times where MCC churches were mocked and humiliated. Times where MCCs were told, you're just a bunch of queens trying to have church. Right? That was the reality of those days. So this text was meaningful for Troy, because he knew if he was going to start a movement that was going to last, it had to be founded on not problems, but on a relationship with Jesus. On a relationship with Jesus would sustain all people. And it has. And it will continue. We say amen because people now can come into our churches, and many are still hearing about MCCs for the very first time. And they come in and they cannot believe that they could be welcomed. Imagine when you first came into this church, that you couldn't believe that there would be a place that would tell you that you are holy just the way you are. Lock, stock, and barrel, that God loves you. It was an amazing thing then, and it continues to be amazing because people are hearing about MCC. Even when we were on vacation, we found there's an emerging church in Milan. So Kirk and I were able to send greetings to that church. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that from a Los Angeles living room would become a global movement of God's grace and God's love that would change lives? And lives are continuing to be changed today. Thanks be to God. So you can understand why Troy, when he started each service, he'd say, if you're in love with Jesus this morning, say amen. Amen. Now, we have a special treat at MCC Richmond because one of those early pioneers is here at this church. I can imagine that Bubba never imagined that he'd end up in Richmond, Virginia, but we're so glad he is. And so I've invited Bubba to come and share with us some of the stories of the early days of MCC, because he was there. He was breaking ground in ministry of God-changing lives. So Bubba, come and tell us.
Hard to believe that it's been 50 years. Yeah. And I thank for Barry for stepping out in faith. Because a lot of us would not be alive today if it was not for his faith. It all started in a little house in Huntington Park, California. Troy put ads in the newspaper that he was going to have a church that gave people to work. His roommate, Willie Smith, was not too happy about it. Willie said, I don't want all these queens I don't know coming in my house. But he said, if it works, count me in. Well, it worked, people. The first Sunday, they had 12 people. Next Sunday, 18. The next Sunday, they had 29. Next Sunday, we had 9. He didn't lose faith. Troy didn't give up. He kept going, and it wasn't long till there was not enough room in the house, and he had to start meeting different places. They met at the Women's Club in Huntington Park, the First Methodist Church of Los Angeles, and then was the Auditorium. And then in late 1969, they found a church that was for sale at 22nd and Union. They would come home. The first church service in 1970, 1,000 people were there, standing on the lawn. And the church was going on. And people contacted Troy to start other churches across this nation. And MCCs began to pop up all over the nation. And you have to remember this, when this church started, we were 1 year before Stonewall. Troy started the gay movement on the West Coast, and it began to spread. And then, on the first Sunday, on January 27, 1973, the Witness Sunday was a Friday. The Mother Church, as they called it then, was Troy's. And we got it. Troy was in Denver. He flew home. Church, the people were devastated. A lot of people didn't know it. Come Sunday morning, they won't have church in the streets. Ed Davis, the police chief of Los Angeles, wouldn't have it. So Troy called Bob Stevens, the city councilman. And within 30 minutes, the street was locked off. And they had a church. They were going to have a church. A lot of the people didn't know that they had burned as they were coming. Some of the choir members went to Willie Smith, who was the choir director, and said, Willie, we can't get out there. The television cameras are here. He said, we're in the closet. And Willie said, Queens, the closet burned down. Get out there. Two other churches burned in the next 2 months, 3 months. Sacramento, $600,000 worth of damage to it. And another church burned. Excuse me. And on July 24th, Sunday afternoon, 1973, the upstairs lounge, New Orleans burned. Before the heavens to church members died. And that was 2 of our people who the pastor, the associate pastor. People didn't care. The churches there wouldn't open up and let us have a memorial service in the churches. The Catholic Church said that they could not have any church funerals in their church for those people, just because they were dead. 29 people died that night in the fire, and the others died from the injuries and everything the next few days. One of them was the mother of one of the men. She came to church with me. People dozed and everything, just so they could worship. 1 month after that, the church in San Francisco burned to the ground. The people they didn't give up. In Houston, KKK decided that they were going to do what they could to destroy the church. And they burned the cross on the front lawn. It was a metal cross that you wrapped with burn out. And it had live bullets attached to it. And they burned it. They had on their phone line that they advocated that please kill a Jew, a queer, a black person, that they used in that word. And the police couldn't, and the FBI couldn't do anything about it until they said, we will offer a reward to anybody that can prove that they can do that, that they did that. And the FBI shut them down. We had bomb threats. One Sunday morning, the pastor called me and said, can you go open up the church? We've got a bomb threat. So the police are coming. And they searched the church. There was nothing found. We had a man that came to church and said that he was going to, or called the church and said he was going to kill everybody there because he didn't like the fact that his son was going there. Reverend Joan Wakefield from South Africa was at the church that weekend. This is in Houston. And she said she was going to preach. And Troy told Jerry and her, the pastor said, take her out of the pulpit. We don't want anything that kind of incident. And Joan refused. She said, God, I follow God, and God is telling me to preach. Well, the man that made it break came to church. And he sat through service. And when he finished, he went up to the altar and knelt. And he started crying. And he said, I know that God is in his place. We have nothing to worry about today. And he left. Mom Fury, Troy's mother, was probably one of our biggest supporters. She worked in the office when we were at 22nd. And she said that she's been called every name in the book. She said they thought I was a lesbian, and they immediately, she said I didn't know people called other people such names. And she said they did. But they were coming back from a rally down in Los Angeles, she and Troy. And as they started to go in the parking garage, a fundamentalist preacher stopped him. He started speaking in tongues, supposedly. Mom Perry looked at him and said, blah, 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 blah. Said, you're not any more speaking in tongues than I am. So shut up. He looked at her and said, woman, you're going to die and go to hell. And she said, that may be true, but this is the first time the devil himself told me. There's so many stories that we have. After the church of 22nd Union burned, they started meeting at the Embassy Theater and in several other places. And in about a year, they found another home in 1050 South Hill, the old Velasco Theater. and met there for many years. MCC kept moving on, and churches kept growing, and we still keep growing. And people, they can't get rid of us. It doesn't matter what, we're still going to be here. It's been 50 years that for me, been involved in this church for as long as I have. I can't believe it. And I love the church. They've tried to burn us out. They've killed some of us. Pastor Ed, sheriff of MC Sacramento, who ran the Sacramento church's food pantry. He got up every morning and fixed breakfast for the homeless. He helped young people any way he could. Made sure they had a place to stay. Made sure they had food to eat. 2 guys said he helped follow him and kill him because he didn't have any money. In Dallas, Tom Stoker, a brother of mine, who was the organist in Dallas, also helped LGBT people any way he could. He helped how he had money and he gave it to people. They tried to burn us out. They tried to kill us, vandalize us, and everything else. But the buildings are not the church. We're the church.
That's right.
Everyone else is part of that church. And no matter what they do, they cannot kill our spirit. And we will continue to grow. So I urge each one of you to help us grow. Reach out. The Great Commission says, go ye therefore and teach all nations. It doesn't say teach the straight people, whatever. All nations. Baptizing them in the name of the Creator, Redeemer, and Comforter. Teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I command you. And lo, I am with you always. People, God is with us always. So go out and let's do our home. Amen.
So as you heard those stories, you must realize that in a lot of ways, times have changed, right? Times have changed because people have learned to show up and speak up and never to give up on God, because God never gives up on us. When I first arrived in Richmond, I remind you that I went to a prayer meeting here, and a woman stood up because she was offended, because I was offended, that they had not mentioned the shooting in Orlando. And I said, you have not mentioned our brothers and sisters, my brothers and sisters, who died in Orlando at the gunfire of people. And the woman stood up and she said, so, are you a homosexual? And I said, yes, thank you for noticing. And she clutched her pearls. The reason I tell you that story is to share with you how minds are changed, because God begins to work on them. That same church has now graciously let us use their parking lot so that we can have places for our 12-step meetings and our weekly evening meetings to park. That is the miracle of MCC. To where we boldly stand up for who we are, knowing that we are wonderful just the way we are, and God changes hearts. Who would have thought that they would allow us to park in their church parking lot? And this is what I know. We're not done with that church yet. We will continue to develop relationships with them, Because just as Job realized, just as Troy realized, it doesn't matter what people might do against us. It doesn't matter our reality. I'm going to find my hope in God. Amen. Amen. Let's sing together.